What's up YouTube? My name is Wyatt and today we are going to be talking about what I have learned in my first month on YouTube. I do want to start out by saying that I am super thankful for your guys' support on my most recent video. That video has hit 200 views and it's still going, and that's as many views as I have on my first 5 videos combined. So thank you guys so much for all that support. It's been pretty crazy to see. I believe the channel has went up like 5 subscribers since the time I launched that video. So if you are one of those new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I'm glad to have you here and I really appreciate all the support you guys have shown. So I actually had a video planned out for this week and I've been working on it all week, but whenever I got all the footage into my iPad and started to edit it, I just wasn't happy with the final result, so I put a little bit of a break on that one. That will be next week's video once it's a little bit more polished and ready. But while I was making that video, it actually had me thinking about quite a few things, and that is how far I've come since my first video that I made here on YouTube. Now, technically, my first video that I made on YouTube was like years and years ago on some other channels that I've had, but this is the first channel that I've really taken seriously, and I've been doing it for about a solid month now. And I just wanted to share with you guys what I've learned and some things that I've experienced over that month. So if you plan to do YouTube on a somewhat consistent basis, you're going to want to have some sort of organization whenever it comes to your files. And I'm personally terrible at it. So what I use right now is I have an iCloud account with about 200 gigs of storage, and then I have 3 SD cards. All of them are 64 gigs. And then my iPad has about 64 gigs of internal storage on it. And that's really all I have in terms of storage. I'm not really running into an issue with the amount of storage that I have quite yet. But what I am running into is it takes me a long time to find the clips that I need. I'm really bad about plugging my SD card into my iPad, dumping all the footage into my iCloud account, and then it just kind of sits there. I don't have it all nice and organized and certain projects and certain folders and stuff like that. And especially on this last video that I made, it really slowed me down whenever I was trying to put everything together because I have to go and search for everything and it's just not time efficient. It also makes it frustrating if you don't have some sort of organization and it is taking you longer, because especially if you're anything like me and you have another job that you work 40 hours a week and then you have family time and stuff like that all on top of it, you really don't have a lot of time to be wasting on sorting through your files. You want to spend all the time that you can being creative and getting your video made rather than searching through your iPad trying to find the 2 video files that you need because you're too lazy to put it in a folder. At the time I'm making this video, I am currently working on that, so hopefully by the time it comes to make next week's video, I'll have all that sorted out and we can save a little bit of time. But that's a big thing, man. It's super easy to do. It really doesn't take a whole lot of effort at all. And if you start doing it, then it's gonna be easier to follow then. Just don't be like me and have like a month's worth of footage that now I have to sit down, go through and sort it all out. I'm pretty sure I even like deleted a few things that I didn't plan on deleting, but I didn't know what I was deleting. So it's a mess, man. Just be organized. Another thing that I have learned since I have started this channel is that your videos aren't going to be perfect. And this is the biggest thing. And this has been on my mind recently. And I wanted to make a whole video just dedicated to this, but I just figured this would be a good time to talk to you guys about it. Your videos aren't going to be perfect no matter what you do. Your videos just aren't going to be perfect. And as a matter of fact, your videos may actually be bad. I go back and watch like the first 3 videos I made and I cringe so hard because they're just bad to my standards. I want my videos to be better than what I released then. However, if you go back and watch each video from the very first one I made all the way up to the most recent one I made, each video gets better and better. It's because that's how you have to learn. That's how you get better. It's just like anything else. If you play a sport, if you play an instrument, whatever it may be, the only way you're going to get better at that is by practicing and doing it over and over. I mean, there are exceptions to that rule. Some people pick up right away and boom, they're off to the races and they have amazing stuff that they put out on their channel from day one. And if that's the case, that's awesome. But for most of us, it is going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. And yeah, just don't be discouraged if you're making videos and they don't look how you want them to. Your channel doesn't look exactly how you want it to. You know, don't let that discourage you. Just keep pushing, because what you'll notice is the more and more you do it, and I'm gonna notice this more at my 2-month mark, at my 6-month mark, at my year mark, the more that I do it, the better it's going to get. And yeah, it's just a learning process, and it's something to get used to, but if you put it into practice, it'll be worth it. I do think it's important to say though that you shouldn't obsess over the small stuff. I mean, you should take the time to make sure that your video is what you want it to be, and ultimately be focusing on the message that you're trying to communicate to your audience, whether you're trying to show them how to do something, whether you're trying to get them to laugh, whatever the case may be. I do think it's important to make sure that you don't obsess over the small stuff. I'll give you a perfect example. So not the last video that I uploaded, but the one before that, how to blur your background in photo and video. I'll link it up here and put it down in the description below if you haven't seen that video yet. But I uploaded, deleted, and re-uploaded that video like 5 times, no joke, before we got the final one that's on the channel right now. And guess what? That video is not even performing that well. So I wasted all that time. And it was all over small stuff too. It was, well, I don't like the way that this title transitions in, and I don't like the way I said this word here, so I'm just gonna cut that word out. Well, now that I cut that word out, that doesn't make sense, so I have to cut out this whole sequence. It's just a mess, and it's a snowball effect, and I wasted a lot of time on that video, and turns out that I don't even like that video. I'm not even happy with the final result, and I put all that time into it. That's okay. Like I was saying earlier, you know, you have to practice in order to get better, but don't obsess over the small stuff, man. It's not worth it. And speaking of small stuff, don't let the small stuff hold you back from making videos. And what I mean by that is, if you want to start a YouTube channel and you say to yourself, you know, I'm gonna start my YouTube channel, I just need to get this camera, or I just need to get this set of lights, or I just need this tripod, whatever it may be. I need a new backdrop. Whatever the case is, if you are making up those excuses now to make your videos, once you get those things, it's going to be a lot harder for you to make your videos. I am personally very guilty of this. I actually own this camera that I use to make all my videos. I've owned this camera for 6 months before I started making my first video. And I wanted to start making videos as soon as I got the camera. That's one of the biggest reasons for me getting the camera. But I just kept telling myself, well, I need a different type of light. And I have a big softbox light. I don't use it anymore, but I had one and it worked perfectly fine. The footage looked okay, but I didn't like the lens that I had. I wanted a faster lens because a lot of the situations that I film in are in darker environments. So there was a little bit of grain in there. And you don't even notice that stuff. Like, your viewers at the end of the day, they're not pixel peeping. I mean, some of them are, but who cares? I mean, nobody cares that you have a little bit of noise in your background. Nobody cares that you're not filming in the most extravagant location. People are watching your videos for the content that you are delivering to them. They're watching it based off the title that you put on the video, the thumbnail that you have, shows you put in a little bit of effort, and then they're going to stay by listening to whatever it is that you have to say in your video. They don't care about the small stuff, and neither should you. I wish that I could go back to whenever I first got my camera and talk to that Wyatt 6 months ago and say, man, what are you doing? Go ahead and start. Because here's the thing, if I would have started with what I had 6 months ago, I would be 6 months further than what I am right now. I mean, I'm happy with where the channel is at this point in time, but I could be further along in my YouTube journey. I could have learned so much more. My videos could be so much better by now, especially with the upgraded equipment that I got. But I didn't have to wait on that upgraded equipment. I shouldn't have. I should have just started making videos right off the bat, and I'd be a lot further along than what I am. I mean, I know it's super easy to look at bigger YouTubers and people that are further in their YouTube journey than you are and say, man, you know, my stuff just doesn't look as good as theirs and it's not up to their quality. And that may be very true, but that's going to be true for most of us. Most of us aren't going to pick up a camera, turn it on, and with the equipment we have, make videos just like somebody like Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat, any of the big YouTubers. We aren't going to match that quality right off the bat. And that's not because we don't have the ability to, it's because they've been doing it for 10 years. They have a way further and better skill set than what we have. But like I said, they've been doing it for years and years, and they know more about it than we do. And it's just, they started, you know, and that's ultimately what you have to do. If you want to get to that point, if you want to make YouTube videos, if you want to have a channel, you gotta start. And that's the only way that any of it's going to happen, is if you start. But yeah, man, overall, that's really it. That's just some things that I've had on my mind recently. I wanted to get off my chest and share with you guys. Like I said, I did have a video planned for this week, but it just wasn't quite up to par. And it really got me thinking about my journey so far in YouTube. And like I said in my very first video, this is a channel dedicated to tracking my progress in photography and filmmaking, and YouTube's part of filmmaking. I think Peter McKinnon said it best: if you're a YouTuber, welcome to the club, you're a filmmaker. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos or have any questions for me, let me know down in the comments below. I do respond to every single comment that I get, and I just like interacting with you guys. That's really what I want to do on this channel, is help you guys out. So if you do have any questions or want to know anything, let me know and I'll do my best to answer it. But yeah, that about does it for the video, guys. I hope there was something in there that you can relate to if you are starting a YouTube channel, if you're planning on starting a YouTube channel, or even if you're further along in your YouTube career than I am. Maybe there's something you can look back on and get out of this. Overall, again, thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Again, I appreciate all the support that you guys have shown on my last video. It truly does mean a lot. I really do appreciate it. And YouTube, until the next one, I'll see you later.